Okay, I'm back. And I mean, he's still the same as you saw him last time, but I have it's so washed out, but you can kind of see what's going on here. Okay, I am gonna true this up and I'm gonna make this pattern a lot cleaner and kind of reassess if there's anything that needs to dramatically change on this puppet. So I guess I'll get started. Okay, the first thing I do is I'm gonna draw a line going down the center line. This whole puppet. Okay, now I'm gonna draw registration marks, at least on that center line, so I can line everything up again. And maybe here, because that might be a separate place. Okay, he looks better already. Okay, now I'm gonna cut him in half. Say goodbye to Zoidberg because you may never see him again. Okay, now I want to make this lie flat. The first thing I need to do is I think I'm going to be able to save these all on one piece, which is going to be great. But in order to do that, I have to cut off the back of these fingers. And this, you can actually hit anything that's glued with a hairdryer and you can actually kind of peel it off. Almost do this one too. Okay. Where'd that piece come from? Oh, that's the mouth plate. It's really easy to get confused. Okay, so there's that. Get to lie flat. This is going to come off. But I'm going to draw it on there so I know where it went. I'm also going to add one there. So, but that might be a plan on. This might be a plan on after I get it all put together as well. Looks just like a side view, doesn't it? With buck teeth. Now, I'm going to go against what this is. I'm just going to cut it this way. And maybe this way. Now it's Bart Simpson. And that's actually a pretty good, it almost works. I think I'm going to make this a separate piece. Okay, and do the same thing on this side. And everybody always asks me why I do both sides. And the reason I do both sides is because you never really know that you get right in the center of the center line of the puppet. So if you're even a little bit off, you're going to end up with a puppet that is either a little thinner or a little thicker than the original. And this will even out everything and keep everything completely symmetrical. And I like that. It makes every other step easier. Boy, that does not want to come off. Okay. Where'd the other mouth plate go? There it is. Okay, so that's the mouth plate. Okay. Now I'm probably going to make this into one, which just is repeated, but I'm going to use an average of at least 2 of them to make that happen. Okay, so there's all the pieces that went into that. I didn't follow the exact lines that I cut before, but I just want to make sure this lies flat. All right. On those eyebrows. Okay. Move all this out of the way. Big enough? Nope. Okay, so I get a file folder. Now this may change. This is not my final. This is just kind of my working prototype to clean everything up so that I can kind of see what's not right. And this may end up being the one I use as the pattern, but I may also change it. And sometimes you have to do the whole process again to make it. Like when I did Miss Piggy, I did it, I must have done it 3 or 4 times. So you take 2 pens, you take usually I use red and blue or some variations of that. You just want to make sure they contrast from each other. And you trace, put all the tick marks on. I think I lost a few tick marks up here. All right. And I trace all the way around. He may lose some of this neck because I like to leave this fabric if I can, so that way, you know, where in the hand, wherever there's a lot of movement, you just basically have it be fabric, so that way you can keep it nice and loose when you're puppeteering it. So this may end up going away, but at this point it's still on there. Okay. Next, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to transfer all the tick marks to the other side. So here, and all you do is you put your thumb on it and then you draw on the back to transfer it to the other side. And sometimes you draw on your thumb. Okay, so now you line up as many. This is actually pretty close. You can see though it's a little off. So it's good that I did this. You line up the tick marks as best you can. And you repin the whole thing. And then you take the other color. It can either be, you can use a Sharpie and then a pencil, or you can use a ballpoint pen and a pencil, or you can use two different color Sharpies, but this is the way I do it. So then you draw in all those tick marks, and then you trace all the way around. Okay, and you pull off the pins. Okay, so now you can see where it doesn't match up. But what you're going to do is you're going to you can either take a third. I usually do not do this. I've only started doing this while I've been on the live streams doing it, because I think it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. I'm doing right between all the registration marks, a longer line in black. And then I am drawing in between the red and the black line, or red and the blue line with black. And you can just cut this way too. You don't have to do the line. So here, this is where that one goes. And the only reason I use the black and the red is so it's easier for me to tell which line is which when I do this step. This is kind of atypical for doing this, because usually they're quite a bit different on each side, but there is a little bit of difference. So okay. All right, now I'm going to cut this whole thing out. Right on the black line. Let me change the angle for you so you know what I'm doing here. Nice to see you stream. Thank you. Nice to be streaming. I'm trying to be more consistent about it. I know that there's a lot of people who enjoy this that don't have anybody to teach them anymore. All right. I'm going to take this little notcher and I'm going to notch out all these registration marks. And if you don't have a notcher, then you can just cut these little V's out so you have registration marks. This just makes it go a little faster. It's only $7, so it's worth getting. Okay. I also kind of wanted to mark where the eyes were, but that may change a little bit, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, but I am going to mark this. This is the upper lip. These are darts. This is the mouth plate, and it goes, it's actually mouth foam, I guess, and it's glued inside. I'm going to put one more registration mark right here, just so it's pretty consistent. And Zoidberg 1/2-inch foam head times 2. Today is 4/23/25. Okay, so that's our first pattern piece for the prototype. I probably shouldn't have gone through all this trouble to label this because it may change, but now we got it. Okay, so now I need to get another little scrap of paper. Or file folder, I guess. And I'm going to trace on the upper lip. And you can anything that will lie flat, you can combine as pieces of pattern. It'll make it stronger to do it this way, and it seemed like it worked. So I'm going to mark these pattern pieces again, or these registration marks, and trace all the way around. And this may not work, but it might. Okay, there's one. Okay, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to transfer the tick marks to the other side. And flip it on upside down. Try and line up those tick marks. And take the red pen and do exactly like I did on the other side. Okay, I am going to next, I'm going to do the other pieces too, because I think I can just, let me see how all these are. They're all a little different, but I think I'm just going to take the biggest one and I'm going to make it symmetrical. And I'm just flipping the same one over. And then when I cut this out, I'm going to fold it in half so it is truly symmetrical. Okay, so last thing is his eyebrow. You can see how these are just slightly different shapes, and they'll all even out. Okay. Let me cut all these guys out. And to line these up, what I do is I usually stick a pin through and I try and get it kind of skewered right on the corner. And then I can fold it in half, and then I know that it's going to be symmetrical. Okay. This is Zoidberg inside mouth. Oh, I still have to make the inside mouth palette. Upper times 4. Okay, just so I remember. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. If I can find the mouth palette. Here's one side of it. There's the other one. Okay. So with this one, I'm going to actually draw a line. I'm going to trace one side of it. I'm going to take the other one. I'm going to put it on there and do the same. And then when I fold on that line, I'll make a symmetrical piece. So it's just pretty close to it anyway. All right. I do need to transfer these all the way over so they'll know where to cut them. Okay. Okay. Zoidberg upper lip front times 2. This is 4 complete. Okay, and then the eyebrow. And I do this as many times as it takes to get it where I'm happy with it. Sometimes I have a much lower threshold than the client or the fan, but if it looks right to me, then I'm ready to move on to the next step. If it's wrong, I'm ready to redo it, make it work. Quote Tim Gunn, make it work. Zoidberg eyebrow. Okay. Here we have our mouth plate. We'll fold it on this line. And I'm going to cut it right on the halfway point. Then I'm going to mark the center line by just lopping off the corners of these. And then that's the half-inch foam lower mouth plate. And this is for 23, 25. Okay. All right. So I've got all the pattern pieces, at least from this version. I'm keeping all my foam pieces still, because I may have to put all this back together if I need to, but I don't think I will. I'm gonna clean up a little bit and get a piece of new foam, and then make my new prototype. And this is just half-inch upholstery foam. This is that I use for prototyping. It's like what's in your couch, but it's shaved down to half an inch thick. And I'm just going to start putting these pieces on here. However they fit. Now, if I was doing the last one, or the final one, I would be using a red pen because I want it to be close to what the final color is. In case it bleeds a little bit, then it won't be as noticeable. I'm going to use black right now because I don't care. I'm going to mark all these registration marks too. And this mat is a it's a piece of wait, I want to make sure that I flip it. It's a piece of plastizote that is porous enough that I can actually pin into, and it saves me so much time when I'm laying out patterns that I just pretty much use it all the time. It's kind of self-healing. If you don't have a super heavy hand while you're cutting, you can cut into it and won't really affect it. But it will wear out at some point, and hopefully I'll find another piece. If not, you can use a piece of bulletin board or a piece of foam core. Sometimes you double up the piece of foam core, or a piece of corrugated cardboard. Okay, so get my black. Mark all my tick marks again. I missed one, but that's okay. Okay, there's one down, the upper lip. I could probably butt these two up together, but I mean, if there's a flat edge, you can kind of do that. I think I will. It's only foam. Okay, there's the upper lip. Okay, I need the mouse palette and the four tendrils, and then I think I'm done with this part. I've been toying with the idea of curving the back of this part to make it easier to get the fingers in there, and also maybe making it thicker so it'll kind of naturally poop out a little bit, but I haven't decided yet. Okay. And I might actually make that piece more of a circle at some point, because I kind of feel like having that open there might be a little problematic as far as a puppet goes. But I also was having problems when I was drawing or was making the mouth plate, that it was too rigid in there, and I needed some open space in order to get the fingers to fit up inside the upper lip. So So that was more of a necessity for, you know, for making it work. Okay, so now comes the tedious part of cutting all these pieces out. I'll probably do that offline and then come back. Maybe more people will watch at that point. But that's basically all the pieces that I just prototyped in that first round. And they're all cleaned up. And then when I put it back together, it should be closer to what the final will be. And by knowing that, I can see where the problems are. Like it seems a little too thin and maybe a little too tall. So I might be able to adjust this piece and then make a new pattern. Or if it's not really that bad, I can maybe alter the pattern I have. But this is kind of the second to last step before you do the final build. And hopefully this is helpful to see this process. The truing up of the patterns, and I'll be back on later tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow working on this, but I'll probably be back on Friday. So anyway, I will see you next time. Oh wait, somebody wrote, "Hey Steve, I'm excited about your new build." Thank you, Charles. I was sitting there, and I do have another build that I have to do, but I know I won't be able to finish it before I have that eye surgery tomorrow. So I was like, well, I should do something today. And this is kind of a side project that could possibly lead to me, being able to sell this on eBay or something. So I figured, why not? And again, it's something it's occurred to me for quite some time to do it. And I just haven't I don't know. This seems perfect for something like this. These non-paying gigs are perfect for things like live streaming. Well, I guess I'm going to cut some of this out on camera. So I think I'm going to get a new blade, though. It's eating that up pretty bad. It's not a new blade, but it's a newer blade, I think. Yeah, I thought about Bender, but there have been so many people that have made Bender, and I'm just like not really that interested in doing Bender. I mean, this is basically Bender until you put the mouth on it. I mean, if I could, I'll tell you the robot that I want to build, but nobody seems to remember is Dynomutt. I think about that one all the time. I mean, I might actually get this thing just built on camera. I might just glue it up to see how it looks. Charles, you saved the feed. I watch Punish Props, and they're making a remote control bender, which is pretty cool. In a car, the head's in the car, and they made a mock-up kind of the same way I am doing it with cardboard, but then they're, I think, 3D printing it. So yeah, I got to figure out what my priorities are, I guess. Now, if somebody wanted to commission me to make dynamite, that would be great. Okay, there's 2 of them. I should get a new persona. There's a Bender puppet out there made for a Futurama fan show. It was on YouTube. Really? How do they handle the mouth? Like, I saw this really cool design that they had. It was a rotating piece of it was like it was a circle with his line on it behind a transparency that would shift back and forth to make it look like the mouth was moving. I have the little action figure of, or not action figure, but in action figure, I guess, of Bender, Leela, and Fry. And, you know, Fry doesn't really translate to 3 dimensions real well with that lip. But I thought Bender would be a pretty cool thing. There's that. And this should look a little cleaner than the last one I had. When I did Miss Piggy, like, it started off as Strange Pork's a test head. And I was like, you know, there's enough similarities. I bet you I can just modify this pattern to make Miss Piggy's head. And I had to go through a couple different iterations of that before it even started to look like anything. But you don't always have to start with a sphere or whatever, which is another reason I did this one, is because I thought that it would be beneficial to see starting from a different place than the sphere. I take my time a little bit more with the final foam, but again, this is still a prototype, so I just basically want to see if the pattern works. Those two dolls. It seems like I do. You know, I don't really. I usually about once a year buy 4 sheets of the upholstery foam and 1 sheet of reticulated or Scott and it usually lasts me about a year. So I don't know if that's, and some L200. I mean, it's pretty cheap. I mean, it's not as cheap as it was. It's doubled in price in just the last couple of months. Okay. Get my paper out and my respirator on. I'm going to glue everything up and then we'll see how it looks. I wasn't anticipating gluing, otherwise I would. Okay, one thing I need to remember is that I'm going to glue right there and right there. Looks like it goes more up here, so let's put a big glue there, and yeah. See, I think my patterns are a little simpler than ones you take off of clay, because it kind of gets down to the basic shapes. And I think there's less monkeying you have to do with the mouth plate, because it seems to always be pretty much in the right spot. And there's no blowing up for the most part. I mean, sometimes you have to blow up, but for the most part, you don't have to. And you can see in real time how it's coming together. That's kind of the way my brain works, I guess. If you can hear that over all the planes and my respirator. Okay. I do like the curve that I end up with the on the back of the mask, the neck mask, the puppet. I think on the next, I have another can of barge. I think that's going to be the beginning of that can of barge. This one's just about this. This right here, this is Max fur from that other build. Okay, there's one. So, now I'm leaving the tops open of all these, so just around the perimeter of it. And I think those eyebrows are going to be plant-ons. I don't think they're going to be under the skin, so I'm not going to glue those on this time. Oh, thick. Okay. There's all the pieces. Okay. It's a lot of glue. Okay, what's the question? Are you going to cover him with F3 fleece? I am going to cover him with old Antron fleece because I have some leftover pinkish red uh, fleece that I'm never going to use that was left over from the honey puppet. And I think I'm going to use that to cover him. Only because, I mean, it's close enough. I may actually throw it in a dye bath and make it a little bit more red. But I just want to use up that extra fur, extra fleece. And all I really have to do is his head and his hands. Because the rest of him is just going to be, a smock of some kind. I'll probably make that out of like a light canvas or something. Okay. All right. Well, it's starting to set up on me. Okay, let's get this thing put together. I need to put a little glue on that. I don't know why I put two of those on backwards and one, two of them right side up. It doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. Fill in all these darts. Here, I can show you what I'm doing here. And on the final one, yeah, I'll take my time. But I'm an impatient man. Trying to line up these registration marks where I can, like the ones I didn't forget to put on there. You got thinner. So he might need a little bit of like maybe a center one that widens them up a little bit. But let's see what happens. This could make it. Oops. I wish I could find. I know. Wait. I know I have another one here. I'm tempted to use something I have two of, but. You could use these. I won't actually use these, but these are some eyes off of an Applause Gonzo. Well, I hate to ruin a perfectly good light bulb just to possibly use it. stick. I think it's going to be right about there. I think his head's a little too tall. Yeah, maybe I'll make that a little shorter. Maybe if I put a brain in there, it might widen it up too. Okay. Well, I'll just draw them on like I did last time. Yeah, might as well. Maybe I'll glue these on. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't want to poke my hands, you know? Ouch. He's not going to have a top frill. I can tell you that much now. And that one part I forgot that I didn't glue, that's going to be a problem. Boy, that's so funny that it changed. It's a little thinner now. Yeah, but you can kind of see. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. But you can see it still kind of works because it's still wet. I think the shape's pretty good. His mouth does open all the way. You just can't really do it like a regular puppet. You got to kind of I've got to figure this out. I've got to probably this piece is all going to be one piece that goes around and has a cutout to get my fingers in there. But I haven't really figured that out yet. And I think the piece at the bottom here is going to have to be rounded. So those will be the modifications I make. But other than that, I mean, I think it looks pretty good. All right. Well, that's it for right now. I got to make some modifications to it, but I think maybe part of it is I'm going to probably cut off part of this neck. Maybe I'll just do that to see. Yeah, those fingers need to be a little bit more robust, but at least has the right shape. And you got to do it like this. This is the only way you can get enough room in there. He's interesting. Looks like Pac-Man's ghost. I wish I had a prototype of Ben Franklin's body, because I think Ben Franklin's body will almost work on this. No, I think it's just going to be open. Like it's going to have like a felt liner in there. I mean, I may make it connect, but I had it connected when I first started, but I couldn't get any motion out of the upper lip, and they just keep gluing themselves to each other. It'll have a fabric base to it. It just probably won't have any mouth plate in there. I guess it could be like Cookie Monster and have a slit there that he could swallow stuff. Yeah. Anyway, at least I know the pattern kind of works. I'll do a few modifications on it and then make the final. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, I could do red or black. I haven't really decided. If I could find a dark red that would be darker than his regular skin. We'll see. Build your Ben body. I could. Well, not right now, but tell you what, this eye is killing me. It's not killing me. It doesn't hurt, but it's just I see a red spot floating around here. So after I get it fixed tomorrow, I should be better off. So anyway, I will see you next time.